Welcome, welcome. If you're watching this is for you. Today's topic: do not keep a scoreboard in your relationships. This has to be the most prevalent issue in love today. The scoreboard. When you're with your significant other, if I did something wrong yesterday, then they do something wrong later, I'm going to bring up or not care as much about what I did wrong because they did something wrong. So they cancel out. Or if they've made me mad 5 times, but I've only made them mad 1 time, then the 5 times that I made them mad is worse. So they don't have to make up for the 1 time that they made me mad. That is BS. That doesn't exist. Drop that immediately. If you are wrong for doing something, apologize, fix it, and move on. If the other person is wrong for doing something, they should apologize, fix it, and move on. This scoreboard technology that we all employ in our love lives, friendship lives, parental lives, it is because we live in a meritocratic American capitalist society. I'm stealing this straight from Professor Zhang. Go check him out. He's pretty deep. This was a point he brought up in his Dante series. Imagine a class, and there's a girl at the front of the room, sits in the front, teacher's pet almost, gets 100% on all of the tests. She's super stoked. The teacher's always bragging about her. Everybody kind of at her because she's so smart. She gets 100 on every test. Final test comes around. She gets a 70. She breaks down. She's crying. She's hurt. You know what every other student in the class is thinking? Finally. Gosh. Got her. That is effed up. And that is the society that we live in. Right now in society, when you have a nice place, you have enough money, and then you start making more money and things start going better, do you know what you do? You get something nicer. You afford something bigger and better that you don't need. Where does this come from? That is not human nature. If you're racing somebody and they trip and fall, you don't keep running and laugh at them and feel confident because they fail. You don't get happy that the 100% student finally got a 70. That is our competitiveness that comes from this money chasing, money God focused society. That's not human nature. When somebody falls, if you're racing them, naturally you want to pick them up and help them. If the person who does really well all the time is hurt, they finally did something wrong, you should be empathizing with them, giving them a shoulder to cry on. If you got more than enough money and there's something that you can donate your money to, that should be the only thing to do with your money. There shouldn't be Louis and strip clubs with $1,000 booths when the bottle costs $20 outside the store. So I go to the strip club and get it for $1,000 so I can be seen. And because why is that even cool? Why is overpaying for drinks at the bar, overpaying for hotels, overpaying for vacations, overpaying for clothes, why does all of that exist? Is because we live in this meritocracy, this capitalist society where I'm better if I'm doing better. And the person who's doing worse, they're just not doing good enough. They're just worse because they're poor, they're stupid, they're not trying hard enough. That is not human. If you give a baby $10,000 and there's another baby who doesn't have any $1,000, the baby might just give them the whole thing. The baby's going to give them 9,000, 5,000, 1,000. We are naturally inclined to help and share and love one another. There is no competitive, I'm going to do the best until we get to GPAs and salaries and making money. But all of that is BS. We could work jobs and not get paid. Food at the store could be free. We could all just be working and doing what we're supposed to do just because that's the role we have in society. That, another argument. Bringing us back to the point. Relationships. In relationships, people keep score. If somebody says sorry to you and you love them, They don't owe you a debt. If your man gets too mad and yells at you, he may apologize and buy you some flowers to be sweet, but the love shouldn't be hinged on that. Like, I don't love you because you made me mad and you didn't make up for it. That's not love. That is meritocracy. That is like when you do something wrong to somebody, you owe them I mean, it's kind of righteous to repay somebody when you've done wrong. So I'm not saying that part, but there isn't like this, they yelled at me. So if I don't do what I'm supposed to do tomorrow, it's justified. If because they yelled at me yesterday. That's not real love. Think about the love you have for your children. If you have children or people who have younger siblings, if you don't have children, or just a parent or somebody that you really love, if they break something, let's say a child, you don't not love them until they say sorry or until they fix it or until they get old enough to buy a new one. It may frustrate you. You may get mad, but tomorrow when it's time to be a loving parent and thumbs up and pat on the back and wake them up and feed them breakfast, you're right there automatically. You're not thinking like, even if you're frustrated about the thing that got broke, you're not banking on it like, oh man, if they break one more thing, I'm going to stop loving them. That's not how love is supposed to work. Love is unconditional. Love is not keeping a tally of how many times this friend didn't answer the phone, so I gotta not answer the phone the same amount of times before I call them back, or they didn't go out with me on my birthday, so I don't go out with them on their birthday. This tit for tat BS is bull, and I really want to get into this. This is probably the most important video to me that I'm making. All of my videos are the most important, but this one, this internal scoreboard totally ruined my last relationship. I don't know if it was meant to be anyway. But this was what the issue was. I can trace the entire flow of our relationship and how things went wrong to this scoreboard. So we get together, and there's the courtship phase. You like a girl, you taking her out, whining and dining her, buying her flowers, boom, and they get together. We get together. At this point, it's kind of tricky with the male-female situation because the woman doesn't really do much in the getting courted phase. Some women are cute. Some women might plan dates and then buy you flowers, or, you know, quote unquote, the equivalent, buy you a little jacket or something, or buy you some juice you like before she meets you for the night at the movies, whatever, buy you some candy. But it's typically the man does the pulling. Once the woman gets pulled, she kind of like sees like, okay, what's the man want? What am I going to bring to the table now? The woman doesn't really have to bring much to the table at first. So when we got together, there were some things that I didn't like about her that I had intended or expected this would have to change if we're going to go further. And I wasn't the perfect man by any means, but I was attractive enough. I was romantic enough. I was cute enough that there wasn't like a whole lot to ask of me. Like, I plan dates, I buy flowers, I bought her like a passport. That was one of our first gifts. Take you on trips, or like, you know, if I'm going on a trip, I plan a trip for us, whatever. You know, if I have some opportunity or money to share, I'm going to share it. You know what I mean? So as far as a guy is concerned, you know, women don't really need too much from guys. It's like attention, care, love, loyalty, whatever. I was there. Like, I'm answering the phone, I'm texting back, I'm, you know, doing my courtship duty. Not to say that I was perfect, but there wasn't much wrong. Like, just like I'm like, I don't answer the phone some weekends, or I'm just MIA, or I don't take you on dates, whatever. So when we got together, it was like, okay, you like roll your eyes and get pouty and get like sigh at me if you don't like something and don't talk about it. And I'm not going for that. Like, zero. And this is funny. Like, if you disagree and you're like, he's tripping, like, what's so wrong with, you know, somebody gets an attitude, that's no big deal. I'm fine with a woman like that, or a man shouldn't be mad at that. That's real. Me, not going for it. Why in the world would I be with the woman that rolls her eyes at me when she doesn't like something? I just don't have to be with that woman. Or if you think that that's not out there for me, hey, I'm not worried. You know what I'm saying? I'm confident in myself enough to say I'm not going for that. And that's it. So let's say that was one of our issues. Like, if I am going out for the night, or I pick a restaurant, it's not the restaurant that you wanted, or you do something I don't like, and when I say it, you like, and just don't talk to me. One of my issues is like, hey, like, can you not do that? Can we communicate maturely? Can we address things? You know how there's the quiet car ride home and the woman just looks off in the window and then we go in the house and don't say anything to each other to the next day? Not going for that. Not a thing with me. That's out. That was something. So let's say that was one of our core issues, really. And let's say another issue was like, you never take me on dates. I'm a 2-day-a-week kind of guy if I got the money. You know what I'm saying? We gonna go to Texas Roadhouse, or, I don't know what chains are national, but you guys, California Pizza Kitchen, we gonna do something, a bar, pool, that's how I live my life. So if you with me, we just gonna do that naturally. So I was like, hey, like, can you plan a date? Can you take me on a date at some point, at some time? Let's say that's a second issue. This, to me, I'm not trying to win. I'm not trying to one up. These are just things that I want. Let's go back to the first, like the pouty thing. If you don't fix it, that's gonna make for an argument, like some spiciness. Like if in the next 2 weeks you get pouty and roll your eyes again at me, I'm gonna be like, hey, like, didn't we just talk about this? Didn't you say that we would communicate better? Didn't you say that we would start having these conversations better and not do it? All right, like, yeah, I'm sorry, but this is tricky because at this point, I'm supposed to leave. That's the real pimp. And I'm not saying pimp in a derogatory way. Like, that's like the manly, real thing to do. When somebody not meeting what you asking for on like the second time, you can dip. But out of love for the other person, I'm sticking around. Like, hey, like, maybe it's love, maybe it's attachment, maybe it's wholesome, maybe it's not. But I'm like, hey, like, said you would do this. Like, I'm a little upset now because it's happening again. Can it not happen again? And if the person loves you, of course, they're going to say, or if they're attached to you, attracted to you, they're going to say, like, okay, I'm sorry. Of course, I won't do that again. Whatever. Third time it happens, fourth time it happens, fifth time it happens. I should be going. That is something to think about. But this is where the scoreboard thing happens is I'm having a scoreboard where it's like, okay, this is the 6th time you've done it. Now I feel indignant. Like, I'm getting 6 times mad and I feel justified. Like, if I'm yelling now or if I'm throwing a tantrum because I'm mad, like, hey, you kept saying you weren't boom, boom, boom. But there is no scoreboard. If she apologized and didn't do it for a week and then she did it again, I leave. You don't keep track and let the numbers stack up to the point where you feel righteously indignant. Like, if I yell now, or if I go cheat now, then it's acceptable because you did it 10 times after saying you wouldn't do it 9 more times. You get what I'm saying? And this is where our relationship really went wrong is, I believe, and I could be wrong, I don't want to misspeak for her or speak down on her, but this is what my observation was. After getting so low on the score, she's keeping a score, and it became like, well, I'm going to have something to complain at you about. So if I'm bringing up something that I don't like 20 times straight, now it's like, I have to find something that you don't like. One of the first things was, you don't cuddle enough. And it's like, okay, I'm not a cuddler. I try to cuddle for 15 minutes, but that's about it. I'm not going to sleep. bunched up. It's not my thing. Or, just not with that person or whatever. I'm not really with it. It's not really something to complain about. It's not really something to leave somebody over. But if that's what you have a legitimate issue with, I understand. I can either try and you can accept that I tried, or not try and you can choose to view me or not view me. But it became like a tit for tat. So if I bring up my issue again, now you bring up, oh, but you don't cuddle enough, as if to say they cancel out. There's no canceling out. You would still be an a-hole for still getting pouty with me and not being communicative. And I would be an a-hole for not cuddling with you. There's not like, well, we both have a-hole things, so now they're gone. Another instance was like, I got to the point of like snapping, being aggressive about the issues about not communicating. This is like the scoreboard working against me because I think you put up so many points of not treating me well. You didn't take me on any dates. You didn't woo. So if I yell, that's your fault because you never did the thing that you were supposed to do, that you told me that you were going to do. Or if I go cheat, it's because you deserve it but that's not real. I should just leave. There's no score. Once somebody's not doing what you want to do, goodbye. When you don't go cheat, you just end the relationship. Once you're cheating, it's pretty much in the dust anyway. So you don't use the scoreboard as a way to justify, bad behavior. And then where it really went sideways is the scores were now being compared. So my snapping, my yelling, and eventual cheating, that became a crutch on her end. Like, well, I would have started being nicer to you. I would have started taking you on dates, but you yell at me so much. Your yelling makes me so upset, and it like saps my energy so bad that I don't really feel the desire to do those things. And I've apologized for the yelling. I went through phases trying to make up for it, trying to be better. That's where I was working well. Where like, okay, I yelled at you too much yesterday. Here's some flowers the next day. Can I buy you something? Can I take you somewhere? Can we go on a date? Can we make up for it? That is an image of like, I'm not really using the scoreboard to be like, well, that's too bad. You deserved it. It got to that point eventually. But initially, it was just like, wow, I really did yell at you too harshly. Like, I'm sorry about that. Like, that was kind of wrong. But where it goes wrong on her end is you still have things to fix. The yelling, or like if you did something wrong 15 times and I yell at you 5 times because my yelling is harsher and scarier than you rolling your eyes at me or pouting at me, it's like we cancel out. So like I'm wrong for being pouty and never living up to the communication standard that you wanted, or never taking you on dates, or never cooking like you wanted. But you are so wrong because you yell so harshly that now I don't have to do anything, or I have an excuse as to not do anything. Imagine cheating. If somebody is cheating, a guy or a girl, they're probably not getting something from the relationship. And that's not to justify cheating, but nobody I ain't gonna say nobody, because, some people are just horny and they just finna go get drunk and have a one night stand. That's one thing. But when there's some unhappiness in the relationship that instigates a person feeling like that they need to go see another woman or another man, them going to do that does not negate whatever the wrong was that made them go do that. And then relationships can just break down into terrible times because whoever the cheater was, guy or girl, is always building back up and always having to make up for cheating. But the person who wasn't doing something, like in my situation, they weren't communicating well. They weren't taking me on dates. They weren't really being that nice to me at all. it's like that just gets sealed off and never has to be made up for because the cheater is now the biggest culprit. But there is no biggest culprit. One thing is not more wrong than the other. Wrong is wrong. If you're doing something wrong, stop doing it and make up for it. If the other person is doing something wrong, they need to stop doing it and make up for it. And when they stop doing it, you have to forgive them or not be with them. There is no guilt timer. There is no deadline on, oh, if I made you mad, let's say I never yelled, and let's just say communication wasn't her strong suit. So every time she felt frustrated or mad about something, she just got pouty, rolled her eyes, and didn't talk to me for the rest of the night. And that happened 25 times. And let's say I never yelled. Once they start doing it, you can't hold the 20 times against them, or that's not real love. If they start trying to communicate, you have to be welcoming to it. You have to be receptive to it. You can't be like, oh, well, you were good today, but 20 times before that. What's the adequate timer for it? Does 20 times of rolling your eyes take 3 months of better behavior to get over, whereas cheating takes 3 years of better behavior to get over? What is the standard? My feeling, or I just feel like I don't, that's inadmissible. That's stupid to just be like, until I feel like it. You'll never feel like it. You'll never just stop feeling the spite of somebody who pissed you off 25 times, but you're still with them. That you can always feel the spite. I can feel the spite right now just talking about it. You know what I'm saying? So love and forgiveness is when you're able to get past it, move beyond it, get over it. Don't put like it takes this much time of not yelling at me before I take you on one date, or it takes this many times of not rolling your eyes at me before I apologize for my poor behavior, or before I stop cheating. That is not love. That is competition. That is meritocracy. That is like capitalism. Like, you owe me 3 months of nice behavior. That's punishment, like jail. What the F is that? That has no place in love. And if you cannot see past that, it's over. And there's nothing wrong with it being over. I mean, if you're married, I would hate for it to end in a divorce, because marriage is supposed to be till death do us part. But it might have to be like a separation period. It might have to just be like an acceptance, or like, is this just going to be bitterness and that's how it is? Can I deal with that? Can you deal with that? Okay, we can, or okay, we can't. It's not wrong for either party. Y'all will both be better off if y'all figure out that the score is never going to be rectified, and y'all just go y'all separate ways and are heartbroken, sad for a minute. Yeah, but y'all will be in a healthier place versus if y'all stay together and keep arguing about the scoreboard. Going back to my relationship for an example, and I know she's going to hate how much I'm talking here, but this is a really meaningful example to bring up about life. We went through a phase at the end, the very end. This was like 6 years of relationships on and off, trying and trying. Child gets born and is involved. At the very end, I went on like a 3-month amazing streak. Talking about buying flowers every Friday. No yelling, no anger, no getting mad. All peace, massages, foot rubs. I don't know if there were any foot rubs, but like, can I help you with anything? Can I do anything for you? Totally subservient. Like, I have been too vicious. I've been too wrong. I've cheated too many times. And we had on and off times, and we've had problematic times. So the cheating wasn't as like we were married and I was cheating. It was like, we get mad at each other. We're not talking for a while. I might have a little thing on the side, but let's say that 3 months at the end, I took all the burden on myself. And that was a problem. It was never just my fault. During that 3 months, she wasn't doing anything. She was done. So there were no dates for me. There were no flowers for me. I was looking through her phone, finding things. If you're looking through somebody's phone, it's already over. Just chalk it. But she didn't feel any regret about it either. No remorse. Like, hey, this is where things are now. You effed up too many times. 3 months of flowers. That's it. Right there. Because where are you getting that from? Where does one get this idea that corrected behavior has to have a set amount of weeks or days or months before I start getting my act together? That is a competitive idea that does not belong in love. And she will stand on this right now. This is where we left off on. Was, wow, you've been giving me flowers for 2 months. What about the 2 years before? What the F are you doing while I'm giving you flowers and being as perfect as I can be for 2 months? Absorbing it, basking in it, treating me nonchalant. Like, hey, you can give me flowers for every week or you can get the F on. I don't care. At that point, that's selfish. You don't love me anymore. The love is gone. You aren't treating me as like, I love this person enough that I'm going to negate the past and move forward. I see he's trying. I'm going to try. This is like, I deserve this treatment because I was getting wronged for so long. So, I'm going to just suck it up and he better hope I come around. I'm not a sucker. I'm not that ugly. I'm not that poor and lame and just, why would I be? I don't deserve that. Well, no matter what you've done, you don't deserve that type of love, that conditional love. Like if you act right for long enough, I'll get over it. That is not love. In every religion, forgiveness is instantaneous. Jesus, Allah, Buddha, Krishna. I don't think Buddha belongs in that category, but Krishna, the Hindi name for God. In all of these instances, if you turn around on the first day and repent, you are forgiven instantly and loved overwhelmingly. In every religion, it said, every religion, as soon as you correct it, as soon as you become better, it is snap, love you, you're good, you're perfect, come here and hug me. Instantly. No God is saying, be perfect for 26 days, then you're forgiven. Or, I'm still mad at you. Think about the love you have for a child. You don't tell your child they better not break things again for 30 days and then you'll love them. They break something tomorrow, you're going to love them like they never broke anything. I mean, it's going to linger in your mind, yeah. But it's no condition on that. And that is love that I can say I don't know if I've experienced. I mean, I'm talking about in relationships. So, damn, I don't know if I've experienced that at all. It's kind of sad. So, I think I have my mom. But so, if you are doing that to somebody, or you find yourself on the receiving end of it, accept that this is not it. This is not how it's supposed to be. This is not what love is. No matter how wrong you do somebody, no matter how wrong somebody does you, if y'all are locked in and y'all are saying, I love you despite anything that could possibly happen between us, that is beautiful. That is love. And that is how it is supposed to be. That is real love, not this meritocratic capitalist love where there's a scoreboard, and whoever puts up the most points has to do the lace work, and that's none of that. Somebody might do the worst thing to you. They might piss you off for 2 years, and then you go cheat. They're wrong for pissing you off for 2 years, putting you in a position to want to go cheat. When you want to go cheat, tell them, I'm done. That would be the more impressive thing to do. But if you go cheat, you're not wrong, guy or girl, because they shouldn't have put you in a position that made you feel like cheating. And then when that person cheats, if they're remorseful and they come back, you don't hold it over their head for X amount of time. And then what about the things that you were doing to piss them off to make them cheat? Does that never get done? So you're mad at them. You're holding over their head for 6 years. 6 years later, you're finally warming up to them. You finally come around, and now we're even. But what about the things that you never did before I was cheating, that you never did when I cheated, that you never did after I cheated, that you never did 3 years later, 4 years later, 5 years? Now, 6 years later, do I get them? Did I deserve to have to wait for X amount of time because of something that I did? What about what you did? If you love me, if that person loves you, there should be instantaneous fixing things and apologies ongoing. That's the good life. That's real life. If you trust that person enough to be with them, then you know that their intentions are not to hurt you, are not to scar you. Maybe they've put in a bad position and they have hurt you, they have scarred you, but you trust that their heart was always pure, was always well intended. So you have to consider, damn, things got that bad that they've hurt me. I wish they didn't get that bad. Maybe I can't do this anymore. Or I understand, still love them, and we gonna push through this today. In my relationships, it's like all of them, they just got, I think there was some real love, but the scoreboard just got too out of whack. Like, it's no going back. Like, I might love you, but not enough to forgive all of these negative points. And if both people are like, hey man, you did me too wrong, so I cheated. Like, you cheated. And both people are wrong, it's over. There's nothing wrong with that. It's okay. It's better to be happy. I've been in a very serious relationship before. That person's doing better now. I'm doing better now with my child's mother. They're doing fantastic. I'm doing fantastic. My child has 2 happy parents. That is much better than us arguing in front of them, than us being beat down and down on ourselves and depressed the whole time in front of them. And even if she might miss me and be thinking like, what is he doing tonight? Or if I'm thinking the same thing, everybody's going to feel that it's natural. I think both of us are looking at each other like, it's over. Like, sorry, I ain't mad at you. We might have our little co-parenting beefs or positive moments, but it's it, you know? So the scoreboard ruined things. People feeling like you did me wrong too many times. I can't forgive you for the 11th time. What is love but forgiveness? So yeah, pretty sad how competitive society has ruined relationships. That's this video. Thank you all for watching. Day in the life 35. Let's get through this one. Mind is still racing on that, so take me a second. Went to the gym yesterday. Went to the gym today. Still been reading. That's been pleasant. I think I have something that I want to say here. Oh, I don't know if I want to drift off into that per se. I said I was going to start doing some little hearts to hearts here. I might make a video on this topic, so I don't know if it's good here, but I am trying to really do better in every facet of my life. I'm trying to stop lying, being dishonest about anything, about what time I woke up, about whether I saw your text. I'm trying to learn spiritually, reading some religious texts, philosophical text, reading a lot of fiction, trying to be nicer to people around me, trying to not hold bitterness and spite and talk negatively about people at all. I'm trying not to even talk negatively, period. I think I might make a video on this topic, so I won't belabor it. Thank you for still watching. That seems like a long video, though, so I might be able to just end it here. Thank y'all for watching. See y'all Monday.